Bismillah wa salatu wa salam rasulullah wa ba'd. In the name of Allah. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his last and final messenger as to what follows. Families, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the features. I greet you all in peace and love with no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you. And this is my first matinee, I guess you can call it. First midday live, but it's very important that we get this out here because this is actually the biggest story in Canada right now. There is daily coverage of it, and we are talking about this freedom convoy, which is going on in Ottawa, the city where I live right now. Now, I've mentioned on this channel many a times, right, that I love my country. Okay, I love Canada. I love being Canadian. I love being from this country. The opportunities are vast, and of course, like any other country, it has its issues. But by and large, it's safe. It's clean. It's diverse, and really, there's not much to not like about Canada. However, Canadians themselves are bitches. Like, I don't know how else to say it. They complain about everything. Like legit, they complain about everything. That's just the Canadian way to be bitchy and complaining and incredibly entitled. You understand? Because if you're living in comfort, you're used to comfort, then discomfort looks like oppression. So this particular convoy, this freedom convoy, is something that we haven't experienced in Canada ever. Okay. As a matter of fact, the convoy itself resembles the Boston Tea Party. Okay. So Canadians, yes, they are whiny. We have it good here, right? This is the truth. We have it good in Canada, and Canadians in general are very whiny and complaining. But this is beyond that. This particular what you call freedom protest is not something that we've ever seen. So I did a video about it last week because very predictably, even when they announced this trucker convoy, I was talking to my wife and I was telling her that you watch, it's going to be hijacked by white supremacists. It's just going to get totally hijacked by white supremacists. I told her that before they even got here. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. But we didn't expect it on this level. So I want to show y'all some stuff, okay, about this convoy, right? First, I want to show you about who the organizers are. Because mind you, it is being packaged and propagated as truckers who are upset about vaccine mandates. I myself am not vaccinated. I am against vaccine mandates. I'll just come out and say it. I'm not with vaccine mandates. You know what I mean? And I'm not vaccinated. However, I know the enemy and their tactics and how they will essentially usurp what is a seemingly good cause in order to get their devilish feet inside the door. You understand? So anyways, let me share my screen. Like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon. Where are we here? There we go. So, as you can see here, right, this is from a tweet, right? And this person basically is putting out the organizers of this truckers convoy. So the first person they mention is Tamara Litch, who is secretary of the Maverick Party. And those of you who are in Canada, we know about the Maverick Party. The Maverick Party is an alt-right party in Western Canada who is essentially talking about separating from Canada. Because she's also has strong ties, as he says, with white nationalists. But what you got to understand about white nationalists is that they will have these ties and they will deny them. That's from their MO. That's from their tactics. So in order to plausibly deny that they're involved in white supremacy, they will say, no, we're not involved with them. You feel me? They all work like that. Then you have this crazy guy, this guy, Patrick King. He's like a nut job, okay? And he's on every single day, hours upon hours a day, talking about this convoy. You understand? All right. And he is like a straight up white nationalist. And then you have this other person, Ben Dichter, who's an anti vaxxer and an alt right politician. Right. So none of these people are truckers. Not a single one of them are truckers. Okay. These are the organizers behind this trucker convoy. And I challenge anybody to find one Canadian trucker organization that is behind this convoy. Just one. I challenge anybody to find that. So we have those are the three main organizers. Let me just share the screen again. I want to get into 1 second. So what is really happening here is that you have a situation where white supremacists have used this convoy as a way in to Ottawa in order to have a Canadian version of January 6th. Except this is way more I want to say successful than what happened in January 6th in the States. It's more organized. It is more, they've actually terrorized the locals here. And we'll put out some videos, but it's what's another amazing thing is that the Muslims have by and large ignored this in order to talk about some mundane issues that really don't matter about anything. Particularly your Muslim organizations like NCCM in them. You know what I mean? The entire time they're doing this green ribbon nonsense. I don't know what the hell they're doing. But anyways, let me share the screen again. Okay, so we have the organizers again. James Bowder shares Anon QAnon hashtags, right? Benjamin Deitcher claims that the Liberal Party is infested with Islamists. He actually says that. Okay, Jason LaFace linked with racist Soldiers of Odin. The Soldiers of Odin is like a very hardcore white supremacist group out here. Tamara Litch, we already mentioned him. Pat King, that crazy guy, right? And he's warning about the big Anglo-Saxon replacement. How are the Anglo-Saxons going to be replaced? Pat King, how are they going to be replaced again? From the vaccine. They legit say this stuff. These are your organizers for the Freedom Convoy. So, of course, like with any other white supremacist group, they have to put their goons and their stooges in front of the world, like these Sikhs and these Negroes, to show that, look, we're not racist. And you will always find a coon or a shine or whatever very happy to go on the camera to talk about their white zaddies not being white supremacists. Okay? That's just normal. However, what are the real trucker organizations saying? The real ones in Canada. What do they say about this? Well, let's have a look, shall we? Let me share my screen here again. Okay, so let's read the statement here. All right. Just want to make sure y'all can see this. This is a statement by the Canadian Trucking Alliance president on Ottawa's protest. This is what he's saying. Okay. Earlier this week, the Trucker Alliance of Canada, CTA, issued its position on the convoy protesting bilateral mandate introduced by the governments of Canada and the United States that requires all essential workers, including truck drivers, to be vaccinated. The only way to cross the border in a commercial truck or any other vehicle is to get vaccinated. As an industry, we must adapt and comply with this mandate, and the vast majority have. This is all true. The vast majority of the truckers have actually complied, approximately 90% or so. While a number of Canadians in Ottawa are in Ottawa to voice their displeasure over this mandate, it also appears that a great number of these protesters have no connection. They have no connection to the trucking industry and have a separate agenda beyond a disagreement over cross-border vaccine requirements. Y'all seeing this? I hope y'all are seeing this. And we said this here on the Features First. You heard it here first. Way back, okay? Now the trucking industry is telling you, we don't know those dudes. That's basically what they're telling you. We don't know who they is, and we ain't with them, okay? We mentioned the organizers. Not a single one of them behind the trucker convoy is an actual trucker or has anything to do with the trucker industry. Yet, in a week's time, they were able to raise $10 million for the Freedom Convoy. Y'all hearing me? So what are these people in the Freedom Convoy demanding? Are they demanding a relaxation of vaccine mandates? Is that what they're demanding? No. Why would they demand? Why would they just shoot so low? You know what I mean? They got to shoot for the stars. They got to aim high. They got ambition. Let's see what they want. Okay, let's look at this memorandum. 1 second. Share this again. I keep on sharing. Force a habit, guys. Like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon. Share the screen. 1 second. Good. So what are these people demanding? Let's have a look, shall we? This is their call to action. This is the actual people organizing this convoy. Their call to action. Listen to this, right? Introduction to the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU. Okay, call to action. All that tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience remain silent. Who are they quoting? Thomas Jefferson. They ain't quote no Canadian. They did not quote no Canadian. You got to understand, freedom for a white supremacist is not freedom that other human beings are thinking of. You understand? They have a completely different idea of freedom. It is not the freedom that you're thinking about. Freedom to them is controlling anything that is half a shade darker than them anything that they have. That's what they mean by freedom. Y'all feeling me? So now you have them quoting Thomas Jefferson, correct? Dear Canadian citizens, Indigenous communities, and permanent residents, thank you for choosing to take part in the unprecedented nationwide movement. Canada Unity represents the Defend the Coalition, concerned Canadian citizens, permanent residents, Indigenous communities, employers. This is who they're saying they're representing, okay? Okay. In the case of the parties are the people of Canada, the Senate of Canada, and the Governor General of Canada. Okay. To the highest authorities representing the federal government, the matter to be discussed and agreed upon is this. The Senate of Canada and the Governor General combined referred to the federal government are to uphold and enforce all Canadian and international human rights laws that are clearly laid out in an MOU or resign their lawful positions of authority immediately. What these people are essentially saying is that we are pushing you out of power. That's what they're saying. It's the same thing that happened in 2020 with Trump and them. That's spilled over to Canada. Ironically, the vast majority of these people on these convoys in Ottawa right now are not locals, right? And there's a massive American presence. A massive American presence. There are a lot of Western Canadians in Ottawa, and Western Canada is largely conservative. You know me, I'm not liberal or conservative. I'm not left or right when it comes to the political parties. I don't care about either one of them, to be honest. You know what I mean? But this is the writing on the wall in Canada right now as we speak. It is getting very real. So these protesters, they're always talking about how peaceful they are, right? They're always talking about how peaceful they are. Oh, we're just peaceful protesters. We're not Black Lives Matter. We're not Antifa. All this white supremacist rhetoric, right? All the rhetoric is stepped up to 100 right now with these guys. You understand? It is stepped up to 100 right now. All Canadians have to support the truckers. Well, we're supporting the truckers. Apparently, the truckers are not supporting you. And they're writing statements saying that they're not supporting you. Here's one from the CEO of Canada's largest trucking company. Here's another one. CEO of Canada's largest trucking company says COVID-19 vaccine mandate not an issue at all. He said that. What do you want me to say? I haven't gotten vaccinated. I'm against the mandates. But I'm definitely not going to start a whole movement based on cap. But again, the enemy, they can do that. They study the art of war. They study Machiavelli and these type of things, these tactics and whatnot. Y'all hearing me? So this guy right here, he is actually a supporter for the trucker Operation Freedom, whatever. Protest supporters threatened to tow truck operator for relocating protest shack. Okay, what is all this? If y'all don't know, okay. A plywood shack used to provide meals to protesters was moved from Confederation Park. Confederation Park is like a big park here in Ottawa, right? It's close to the Parliament building. Over the weekend, at the request of organizers, mind you, okay? The tow truck driver said he has received Hundreds of phone calls and death threats as a result. This guy is a protester. This is crazy. These are your peaceful protesters, people. This guy is an actual protester. He is there protesting with the trucker convoy. You understand? The organizers of the protests, those people who are not truckers, asked the trucker to remove this wooden structure from Confederation Park, and he himself, for doing the job that the organizers of the protest asked him to do, received what? Hundreds of phone calls and death threats. You can't make this crap up, man. An Ottawa tow truck operator said he has received hundreds of calls, including death threats from protest supporters who mistakenly believe he removed the plywood shack from Confederation Park at the request of police. These are insurrectionists, people. They're not protesters. Let's be very clear. Does a protester threaten you with death? Threaten you with death? Protesters do that. But again, language is everything. So these people are very quick to label other people as because this is a centuries old white supremacist trick that your enemy are the ones who are oppressing and are violent, but us, no action that we do is oppression. No action that we do is violence. No action that we do is terrorism. You understand? We are standing up for freedom. We are standing up for justice. We're not terrorizing anybody. These are all tricks. Y'all must be tripping. You must be tripping. And this right now is so big in Canada. I'm not sure how it is. I saw some American channels carrying this. You got to understand about something about Canadian media while we're on the topic. Canadian media, all right, by and large, is neutral. The most neutral of Canadian media is Globe and Mail. Then you have other media outlets like the Star and what you call Global and all these other. But by and large, they are neutral. They're just reporting news, like mostly Canadian news. Every once in a while, they'll cover international news, but they're not. It's not like in America where you have, for example, Fox News, which is always pro-Republican, and CNN, which is always pro-Democrat. It's not like that here in Canada. But what's happening is that these people are making the Canadian news outlets to be almost identical to what the mainstream news outlets that you see in the States, and how that narrative that was carried from Donald Trump over there, they're basically saying that the Canadian news outlets are like that. You feel me? You feel me? So now, what's happening in Ottawa is that any mainstream news reporter or media personalities that tries to do their job and report, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to report on what's happening in these protests. These so-called protests are being violently ran out of the protest. Violently. Never happened in Canada before. Y'all hearing me? And now the only people that are allowed to report are these alt-right, white nationalist, ulterior media outlets. Those are the only ones that are allowed to report on what's happening in Ottawa right now. So much so that even the locals are being terrorized by outsiders in Ottawa. What do you mean, Bilal? Stop. Does Bilal do cap on here? Like I said, I don't have a vaccine. I never got this. Nobody in my family got vaccinated. Not a single one of us. Right? We understand very well the ridiculousness behind the vaccine mandates. But again, while the enemy is playing three-dimensional chess, you're still trying to figure out how to play checkers. What kind of protester demands, that the governor general of all people basically dissolve the government? They're making that's what these protesters are demanding. They want you to dissolve the government and put our people in. That's essentially what they're saying. Y'all hearing me? So, anyways, let me show y'all something. All right, this is from City News. Okay, and this is from a local out here in Ottawa. Let me just show y'all.
What, bro? Why? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? Stop.
Imagine this. You're an ordinary Ottowan walking through your neighborhood park. You see some members of the truck convoy encamped there and you try to take some pictures. That's when you're attacked.
You're assaulting me. You realize that, right?
I was just an average citizen. I'm a guy in my mid-50s. I've got a kid who goes to the high school right next door. All I did was raise a camera and I was attacked by several people and nothing was done.
Abre, a former communications consultant, lives here, the Triangle, a neighborhood right next to the Rideau Canal and a stone's throw from Parliament. As an Ottawa resident, Abre says he's used to protests, but not this.
People have been verbally abused. They've had feces left on their properties. They've had rocks thrown at their houses. Teenagers have been intimidated. I mean, for goodness sakes, Rideau Center has been shut down for days. When has that happened in the past? There are professional offices in that building. There are medical offices that can't carry out their business because the city is incapable, it seems, of simply maintaining some semblance of order that lets people go about their daily lives.
For those of you who don't know what Rideau Center is, it's like the biggest mall out here in Ottawa, right? It's a very popular mall. And since these guys came, right, Rideau Center never closes, right? But since these guys came, they have to shut it down. They had to shut it down because these guys were like pretty much some of the things that were happening on here in Ottawa. For example, they have they essentially you could say robbed or assaulted like a food bank or something like that, like a homeless shelter. They actually did this, right? The Rideau Center has been closed for 2 weeks because of these guys. Right. So what's happening here is not an actual protest. It's not a protest. Right. This guy's a local. He ain't got nothing to do with anything. He lives there. You feel me? You understand? So there's something else going on here. That is the point.
Abre is especially frustrated with police who he says watched the encounter play out.
At a bare minimum, law enforcement in this city should be endeavoring to protect citizens. If they are unable to do that, seriously consider the leadership of the organization and the mandate of that organization, because they are very clearly unable to execute very basic duties.
On Monday,
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How you doing, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah, how you doing, Akhi?
Alhamdulillah. What you got for us, brother?
Nah, Akhi, just saying, subhanAllah, I just popped your video right now. Subhanallah, Akhi, there's a lot of stuff going on. I haven't listened to most of what you said, but I have a general idea. But
Mm,
hey, you gotta look at it like this. Like first and foremost, like the government, they're not stupid,
mm,
right? So they have probably intels, they have information. These guys have inside information. So they're making those type of tactical moves, you know what I
mm.
mean? Knowing these guys are, very violent. I
Yep.
mean, you come into the parliament and you cursing the prime minister of Canada, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, with like out like this animosity, like with this
Yeah.
extreme animosity.
I
And
never, I ain't never seen anything like that before.
you know what I
And
mean? Like it's
I
crazy.
lived through Brian Mulroney and through Stephen Harper, and we never seen that with either
Ever.
one of them. To be honest,
Ever.
just he's really not that bad. He's all right. You know what I mean? I don't agree with
Yeah,
everything. It's
he
obvious
I
he's a
feel
little
like
bit,
there was a lot of I was just talking to this one of my doctors, okay?
but
And subhanallah, I didn't even know like if you look at all the prime ministers in the past, conservatives or liberals, in Canada right here, like during my time, your period of time, all of them they were corrupted, huh? They were
yep.
all corrupt. It's not like Justin Trudeau as they say,
Yeah.
because if you remember Paul Martin,
Mm.
right, the scheme he did, right?
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
John Cartier, he used to chill with mafias, Montreal mafias,
Mm-hmm.
right? Bel Moroni, he did what's his name, Moroni. He just they found out later he stole like a whole bunch of money and used the tax money to invest in business and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it carries on. This thing is it's nothing new in the political world,
Yeah.
But like you said, Ahi, is like these guys they're just they're into this. It's actually you can't deny it's white supremacy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's stupid for you to not believe that, because
Mm-hmm.
like you have this lady Tamara Leach,
Mm-hmm.
right, who wanted to exit from Canada, Ahi.
Yep. Yep.
She wanted
That's that.
Alberta to be like Quebec, our country by itself. What
Yep.
kind of
That
patriotism is that? Now she's
exactly. That's
talking about, oh, we all one, we're all the same.
yeah.
Oh, now she wants all these newcomers and immigrants, all the black folks,
And
to support.
mind you, she became Métis after the convoy as well. All of a sudden, she's a Métis.
Look at that.
You know what I'm saying?
What happened before that?
She was, she was, pure pasty white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
White as, white as milk, white
Akhi,
as an
Allah
angel,
Mustaan,
angel in heaven, and you know what I mean? She's
Yeah,
so,
Akhi,
you know. But
these
now
guys, they're really about the violence, though. It's true.
yeah, of course,
They're the
and
ones who were supporting when those Muslims are getting, shot up in the mosque
yeah,
and getting driven over. You know what I'm
mm,
saying?
yeah,
Like burning mosques and whatnot, right?
mm,
These are
mm.
the people who are part of this.
The same
But now
people.
they're mixing, they're mixing. Of course, now they have it's a political agenda, obviously, right?
Mm,
But the government, Akhi, I keep telling these guys, right? Even these white folks on social media, I
mm,
have when I tell them like, hey, you can't hide the resume of these organizers.
mm.
You know what I mean? You can't
Bro,
hide it.
let me tell you something, man. So far, the people who have supported the Ottawa convoy, Freedom Convoy, you have Donald
Yeah.
Trump, okay?
Yep.
Donald Trump, okay? Candace Owens, okay? Openly coming out and supporting this.
Yep.
Jordan Peterson, I used to be on the fence with Jordan Peterson. I wasn't sure what is this guy like, white nationalists or not, because I know a lot of white nationalists support him, but there's no way on earth that Jordan Peterson, with all his education, right, his ability
Academics.
to do
Yeah.
research,
Yeah.
does not know that this is like a type of foreign interventionist plot. He
Oh yeah.
cannot not know that. You understand? He understands very well what it is, and he still supports.
Yep.
So what does that tell you? Elon Musk,
I,
child
I
of
think that guy was
apartheid
behind
money,
it all.
child of apartheid money supports this.
Achi.
You know what I'm saying?
Achi, I'm telling you,
But,
the biggest guys who promoted this convoy, in my
mm,
opinion, is
mm,
Joe Rogan and Elon Musk.
mhm.
these
Yeah.
two guys, because they have because they are such a big public figures, and a lot of especially Joe Rogan, he has a lot of these alt-right followers, you
Yeah,
know.
he's a lot of outright
And
followers. Call it what it
oh
is.
yeah, oh yeah,
You know
all
what I
his
mean?
guests. If you look at all his guests, it's like
Yeah, and
hardcore
mind
alt-right.
you, Joe Rogan is anti-Islam, and
Oh,
let's
die hard. He just cooled
yeah,
down now.
yeah, he's anti.
He just cooled down now because of he's
Yeah,
getting big, but
because he doesn't like pressure. You understand? He himself
yeah,
doesn't like pressure. He doesn't like. He doesn't even though he has all these conspiracy ideas. A lot of alt right like our conspiracy theorists. When you put
yeah.
the brakes on him, he doesn't like that. You feel
Oh
me?
yeah, oh
He
yeah,
doesn't
oh
he
yeah.
doesn't like being called racist and all this
Yeah,
kind of
I
stuff.
said
And
I don't know if I sent you that video. They caught him. They caught him. He was like trying to defend himself, saying like, "Oh, I'm not racist," and then
yeah,
he's using like the N word. He's trying to say it's okay to use the N word, like in his own
mm,
show.
mm.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
know,
So, and
yeah.
he's
But,
saying the word.
yeah, the thing is, I mean, it's just because you say the word doesn't necessarily make you racist. So we have to be clear, right?
Yeah,
If you
no,
say the N word, it
yeah,
does not mean that you're racist. However, we're gonna know your positions based upon the actual positions that you take, right? What we know about Joe Rogan is that he doesn't like
yeah.
Islam. He hasn't he's never shown
Oh, oh yeah,
any type of hatred
outwardly.
towards black people at
Yeah,
all.
he
You know
doesn't
what I mean?
sugarcoat
But
it, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
he
Islam, he
doesn't
has a problem
sugarcoat
with.
it. But I don't
Yeah.
understand why though. He's from like New Jersey, Italian
He's
background,
got
you
a
know,
Jewish
like
wife,
I never
but
understood that.
he's got a Jewish wife. So what do you
No, you know what I
expect,
mean?
right?
Like, I'm like, what
But
the heck,
any,
you know?
but anyways, the whole point is that uh, this freedom convoy, all it is a Trojan horse for insurrection. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I
Nobody
don't know
there.
if you've seen,
They're
like I've been
terrorizing
saying it.
locals. The locals in Ottawa have actually put an injunction against the protesters. You understand?
Mm, yeah,
So now the protesters are not allowed to honk their horns or anything like that. You know what I mean? So there's
actually,
tension there. There's tension there.
yeah,
And mind you,
big time, big time.
like we said before on this channel many times, that a lot of the authorities and the military apparatus, many of them are white supremacist background, because these are the same people that built
Of
this country.
course, yeah,
They want to defend
yeah.
white supremacy. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? So
But
they
like, hey, like,
wear badges and blue
yeah,
suits instead of white hoods. You know what I mean? And
yep,
they
yep,
wear
yep,
military fatigues instead of burning crosses. You know what I mean? So that's who they are, and
yep.
because they're good at hiding in plain sight, it don't mean that we don't know who you are.
Exactly, guy.
There's a new
Exactly.
Negro. You know what I
Like
mean?
I said,
We're not
like I used to
all
say, just because a person is nice doesn't mean he's not racist.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
just because
Jordan
they're nice
Peterson.
doesn't mean
He's
they're not
here.
racist.
Jordan Peterson, like I wasn't sure about Jordan Peterson. Now I'm sure. Like, you know what I mean? I'm positive. Like, there's no doubt in my
No, but
mind
he
now.
was notorious. Actually, he also even he used to even have debates about. He denies there's existence of white privilege and all this stuff. Actually,
Yeah, all
like
kind of
I'm thinking like
craziness. Yeah,
yeah, it's like I'm like, what's wrong with
yeah, and
this
that's
guy? You know, and
yeah.
then
But he always
he
plays
has
him.
a lot of
No,
issues.
I'm not.
Like he has.
No, I'm not a white nationalist. No, he always and he's pretty good at acting. Even me, I was like, well, maybe he's not a white man. No. This dude
No,
is.
no, yeah, like I used to work in a building, right?
Mhm,
I used to know because he works at the University of Toronto, right?
yeah.
The Jordan Peterson, right? Peterson.
Mhm,
So I remember one of my I used to like in the building, like so
mhm,
he was his colleague. He's a professor as well. So they used to be in the
mhm,
same staff room, like the teacher's room. And I
mhm,
was like, so Jordan Peterson, right? He's
mhm,
like, yeah, we always in the staff room, and everything, right?
mhm,
I was like, yo, I said to him like, hey, what's up with this guy? He's like, keep in mind, he's a Italian professor, right?
mhm,
Canadian, of course, Canadian guy. So then he was like, he's an elder, like he's been a professor like 30 years in University of Toronto and stuff. So he told me like he's just about his business. He doesn't talk. He said he sits in the staff room. He's like he doesn't talk to nobody. He's just alone. He's like a loner, you know. But he knows what he's doing. Wallah, he said that to me. He said he knows what he's doing, like you know, like with his books, the media, when he talks, he's just trying to just he's just making it's a business revenue for him,
Yeah.
right? So so he just goes where popularity is. You get it? So whatever he says, whatever he does, he's just trying to get a crowd. You know, he's just about making money too.
Yeah, I mean, we know some
So I
Muslim
don't know,
YouTubers.
like if he can believe that, he believes that he's not. But I'm just showing you. All these guys about that fame and money and have a little what they call it sideline, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Allah understand. But also actually I want to add a point. Like remember me and you we spoke about this before. What I've seen right now, I just watched a video live from one of the liberal parties, right? Actually these guys now the liberal party is like siding with the truckers. Right, having some kind of empathy for the Canadian population.
Remember,
the same thing what the conservative did.
Yeah, remember I told you
just controlling both sides of the outcome.
As soon as Justin Trudeau, because we talked offline, I said Justin Trudeau messed up royally in that speech because he could have.
I think he was too hasty. He was very hasty.
Yeah, and he was just trashing the convoy. I said that was
man,
terrible mistake.
I think it got under his skin. Actually, they got under his skin.
Yeah, you can tell, right? And so now they just use his vitriol and weaponize it. If he came off showing sympathy for them and saying, "Yes, we understand. It's tough times, and we're doing the mandates, and maybe we can ease it up a little bit, and blah blah blah." I bet you that would have squashed everything, right? Not
only that, he said, let's discuss about it. Let's sit down and see where we can carry this. He just went full black aggressive on them.
These people, they don't believe in science, and you know what I mean. And 90% of Canadians are vaccinated. 90% of truckers are vaccinated. All that is true, by the way. Like 90% of Canadians are vaccinated. We just happen to be the 10% who aren't, and 90% of truckers are vaccinated as well. Right, but
they keep changing the number. First they say 80%, now it's 90%. That's what I find it weird. But it's okay, it's all the same anyway.
The point is that he just dismissed them all as quacks, and not everybody in that protest are quacks. There are a lot of sincere people who believe, right? This is an actual freedom issue because they've been locked down for 3 years, and it's easy for white supremacists to capitalize on that. Because they've been playing this game for hundreds of years now. They know exactly what words to say, what buttons to push, and they're taking this opportunity. They gathered $10 million from who knows.
It's frozen now. It's frozen, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean. But even still,
and now I don't know if you heard about the residents trying to sue them now. They got a lawyer.
Yeah, because
who's them for $9.8 million.
Who's going to clean up that mess? Who's going to pay all the people that can't work because
of 9.8 million? So all that money they raised is going to go back to the residents. What's left with them? $2 million?
Too, because this is you're talking about cracker money, right? They got cracker money. They got slavery money. You know what I mean? They got money, that generational wealth, bro. You know what I'm saying? They got that deep South Confederate flag money. You know what I mean? They got some Harley Davidson money.
Man,
IBM, who helped Hitler with his counting systems money. That's the type of money they got. You feel me?
Man, they bought, but they said most of that money came from America. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah, they may be small in numbers, but they are very well funded, and they are
they're loaded. They're loaded,
and you can't just dismiss them like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, one time I was looking for a building to rent for a school. I was going to open a school back in like some years. And subhanAllah, I seen this guy, right? This white Canadian guy, right? Mississauga, in fact. Or was it Malton? My bad. Malton. Or Milton. Was it Malton or Milton? One of the two, anyway. So then, it was Milton. Malton? I'm not sure, anyways. It's around Mississauga area, right? So then, anyways, I found a school. A building. and I was trying to rent it out. So I have this guy who was like a construction worker, like, you know, painting and like, you know, innovation, you know. So
Mm.
then I was like, yeah, I'm looking for the landlord for this building, right? I'm thinking it's just some labor worker, right? And he's
Mm.
like, oh yeah, I can give you his number, but this building's taken, whatever, right? He's like, oh,
Mm.
if you need a building and stuff, you know, I have this amount of square acres or whatever of floor, and I have a building there. You can come and look at it.
Mm.
I was like, I was
Mm.
like, what the heck? You're
Mhm.
looking at this guy who's just a general labor worker, you
Yeah.
know, and he has inherited, he's
Yeah.
inherited from his like great grandfather or something.
Yeah,
But he
exactly.
has a real estate, but he's just working just to, you know, to keep himself
So
active, you know.
you can imagine these white people, they came here. Every government in the Western Hemisphere promised white folks free land, right? And
Bro, this is facts.
the majority of the countries in the Western Hemisphere also promised free labor. The only one that really didn't was Canada, but I don't know
Yeah,
anybody else in South America, the Caribbean, or America that didn't promise white people free land and free labor, right? And
yeah.
then you generate that for a couple of centuries, right? And now today they're complaining about freedom.
Actually,
You
like
know
if you
why?
think,
You know
actually,
why they're
Chef,
complaining
like
about
if you
freedom
think of the
today?
massiveness they have
Yeah,
land, if you really
yeah.
honestly think about it, okay,
Mm,
imagine now. I remember, wallahi, I'm not lying, actually. One of
mm,
my trainers, I told you about this Canadian dude, right? Like 200
mm,
years here, he came, whatever, his ancestors or whatever, right? He said,
mm,
he remembers himself, and he's only like 6 years old. He said, I remember
mm,
when I was 18. He said, the time when he turned 18, he said, me
mm.
and my brothers and everybody, by law, they were getting around between 200 to 400 acres of land for free.
Yeah.
The only thing they
Hmm.
have to pay is $10 for like the tax or some kind of provincial tax. That's it.
Exactly.
For the registration, only, sorry, not even tax, registration, $10. That's it.
Mm.
So now,
Yeah.
if you think about the massiveness, now think about like the parents that look at his mom and his dad or his grandfather that they will inherit. How big
Yeah.
of a land they'll own.
Exactly.
This stuff is
And these,
crazy, Akhi.
and
I
these
read
people
this for
are
myself. I searched it. I
complaining about
read this is
freedom.
real.
Yeah. But anyways, bros, I gotta go. I gotta get ready for work and stuff, inshallah. But Jazakallah khair. Thanks for joining me, Abu Sufyan. I really appreciate it. Thanks
Yeah,
for the
bro.
brothers and sisters for participating in this matinee. Maybe we'll do it again during the days to come, inshallah, because this story is very, very important to cover, and every single
Yeah,
day is
it's a
something new.
build up. It's a build up now. It's building up
Yeah,
big time, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All
But
right, khair, inshallah. I'm outside right now. That's why I can't be on video. My bad.
no problem. Okay.
Inshallah.
All right.
Jazakallah khair, Akhi.
Oh
Jazakallah khair.
yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.